Yeah, see, this is what bugs me in these fucking games. What happens is like you cancel, but then like they have to like interpolate between the fucking the pose you were in and the cancel, and that would and I think that causes a lot of the fucking issues because what ends up happening is that like the cancels don't feel like cancels. They feel like your fucking character just flailing around. Look at this. Look at this. It's over focus on realism sabotaging the game itself. Yeah, just like a focus on realism sabotaging the game's feel. Look at this motion. What the fuck is this motion, dude? What is he doing? Because imagine if he did the kick and like, boom, you snap to this, you snap to this instantly, just and you add some kind of cool effect, right? So to mask the transition, that would feel cool. That would be like a Neo fucking cancel animation. Like have like a single in between frame or just no in between frames because that's how a lot of hold on, let's see, look at Ninja Gaiden. Combat, whatever. And Master Ninja Madness. Whoa. Let's see. Let's wait until he throws the shuriken. What is this realism boner? That's modern gaming, baby. Realism. Okay, let's see. Come on, cancel something. Okay, that was a cancel, I think, but that was too. Oh wait, no, that wasn't fucking cancel. That was a. All right, Jesus Christ! Please throw a fucking shuriken, please. I beg you, throw it. Just go outside if you want realism. Yeah. The tell us of video games is to be fun. Jesus fucking Christ! Okay, hold on. I gotta. Please, please cancel. Okay, well at least this, right? There we go. Hold on. Big, you need to archive the stream, maybe. Yeah, look at this. Instant fucking snap. Instant fucking snap. I need to stop it before it goes over 6 hours. That way I can actually cut this shit out. Anyway. Yeah, like, look, it instantly snaps. There's no in between shit. He just goes to the next animation. It feels super fucking good. Because when you have these kinds of cancels, it's not realistic, but it feels fucking awesome. Because like there's a greater synchronicity between the animations and between the actual shit that's happening. But if you have these in between frames where fucking Kratos just does a stupid wooden pose, then it feels like the game struggles to keep up with your inputs in terms of animations. Like the animation system is like breaking itself trying to keep up with you. And it looks very stiff. Another problem that happens is because this is how it works. You don't get as many when in a cancel heavy game. You don't get as many like extreme key poses. So here you before you even get to finish one pose, you start another one, and because the character does kind of like an in between animation, it all kind of blends together into this averaged out fucking stasis like
Even can
middle state. I don't know how to describe it.
cancel that recall with an evade as shown here.
I think it's better. You can see it more clearly in the combo videos that I was showing off. Can you cancel IRL? Oh yeah, Twitter's big on that shit. I've heard. Let's see. Let's investigate. Yeah, like yeah, there are power poses, but it's like the way they blend together. Because here, okay, you have this. Boom. This is a cool pose, right? This is like, oh, you did, but then because there's like transition frames, it doesn't let you fucking snap into this. I don't know. Here, this is a good example. Like, what is he fucking doing here? It's like, uh, 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 uh. It's just a bunch of shit where he's like stuck in the middle. I don't know, stuck in the fucking middle, interpolated fucking halfway point between the cool attacks. And it literally just does feel like the game, that like the animation system is struggling to keep up with the player now. Whereas before, the game fucking answered. You pressed the button, it answered. Spider-Man truly is the worst fucking thing, though. Spider-Man 2 is just the absolute fucking worst I've ever seen, I think. Just look at this. Just look at this fucking nightmare. And it's all because it's like interpolating shit, I think. Yeah, like you feel that tangible sense that like Peter over here is struggling to keep up with the player's fucking inputs. Because like before he can even start his animation, the next one is coming out, and because it's so blended and interpolated, it all ends up feeling like fucking middle of the road sludge. I still love this though. I still love this. This is like my favorite. This is my fucking favorite. See, in Ninja Gaiden, if you go around a fucking enemy and then you want to abruptly change your directions, you would like do some kind of dash, like air dash, you know, with like a proper particle fucking emission, you know, like a shockwave, something like that, and you would see some fucking trails showing you which direction you're going in. Here, Peter just kind of stops and just glides over. He just like completely breaks his momentum with no discernible cause of that. He just does that. You can just fucking do that, just like oop. Let me actually slow it down. Playback speed. Dude, look at this. This too, the way they land is very like it feels like okay, so it feels like what's happening here is the collision fucking capsule or whatever the fuck is hitting the ground, but because the animation has to smoothly fucking put Peter's fucking feet on the ground, it like he like kind of like slows down his fall. Just oop, oh, hold on a sec, gotta adjust the animation. And it's just like every single system, every single animation, every single like game mechanic, every like movement is struggling against each other constantly. And it's ending up with this fucking abomination of Peter, this is not your Telos. Peter, no. Don't fucking go against your Telos, brother. Oh my god. Look. And of course, there's no fucking hit sparks or anything. Like, come on. This is fascinating to me. Because, like, it's all that money, all that talent, all that fucking, like, coordination and effort being used to produce this fucking shit. Like, what the fuck was that? I guess this is a tech, dare I say. Literally going against the cosmos, yeah. What the fuck is happening? Okay, this kind of goes hard. This is pretty solid. What the fuck? Peter? This is incredible. I wonder if this is how normal combat looks like. Combat, let's see. And also I can turn on the music, just gotta make it quieter. No damage, perfect combat. Alright, let's see. Let's see how the normies play this. The non-combo fiends. Hate how interpolation is used in video games. So much work to try and make it look like a movie and feel like ass. Yeah, when the first games when I really started noticing this was some Uncharted games. I think like 3, something like that, and I was like, fuck. This feels like ass. Like the characters were sliding around because of the systems. The fucking animations were interpolating, and it felt like the movement system and the animations started struggling against each other. What exactly is interpolation? Interpolation is this, right? It's a blanket term I use, but it means it basically, the principle is this. You have frames. You have, like, let's say 60 frames. You make a key pose here, Like, let's say the character is fucking doing this shit. Then you add another keyframe here, and the character is doing this shit. And then basically what happens is the computer, which could mean either like simple math algorithms or like really advanced shit, like fucking proper AI shit. It could mean anything. The computer via algorithms, it creates each frame leading from this key pose to this key pose. That's why Kratos here, he has this really awkward like wooden animation, because he needs to snap from this pose. Fuck, where was it? Come on, please.
That's shown here.
Yeah, because he needs to snap from this pose, which is a kick, to a neutral pose where he's like holding out the a dodge. So what happens is he kind of like the game tries to find the in between frames, and as a result, you get these really stupid looking poses. Whereas with Ninja Gaiden, I feel like they curated the kind of poses they would get more carefully, and they built the game around those constraints. There was more synchronicity between how the game actually played in terms of states and how the animations worked. So if you cancel, you get a proper cancel. Because like here, right? Where was it? Come on, where was it? Please. Please, I beg you. Cancel something. Let's see. Like, there's no interpolation when you cancel shit, because it's just one move into another. I'm just trying to find where the fuck you cancel something. You know what? Ninja Gaiden Black is probably a better choice, because shuriken cancels are very common there. Boom. Yeah, like this. Yeah, like this pose, and then he presses the fucking shuriken button to cancel. Boom. Instant, like, fucking throw pose. And you know, it feels good. It feels good when the animations snap, because the game instantly responds to your controls. Like, there's instant, immediate visual feedback. It's like shooting a gun, you know? Except your character's poses the gun. But when you interpolate, it adds more delay between your press and what actually fucking happens on the screen. It can be used well, but it's especially prone to looking messy if there are cancels that interrupt. I think some stuff looks really good, but then it's like, you need to coordinate it so well, extremely fucking well, because like there's so many more points of failure when you're relying on these fucking interpolation and assist mechanics. Why do devs use interpolation if it ends up making things worse? Wouldn't it be easier to let it snap to pose? Yeah, it would be a lot easier, but it seemed like as kind of an archaic way to do things, because it's not realistic. It doesn't push tech. It doesn't like... Because, you know, that kind of stuff is the shit I use. The shit like us fucking plebeians, the dirty fucking... the dirty pores use. This shit requires a full studio of several animators, several like fucking technical artists, you know? Fucking programmers working in unison. There's like fucking different parts to it. There's procedural animation programmers. There's like fucking proper animators. There's people who coordinate the two. The original Quake was animated using a few frames and enemies. The Steam port has an option to use interpolation. Look it up. It looks horrible. Yeah, I hate the Quake interpolation, because it's like all these... Oh yeah, fucking... You know what? You know what's a good example of interpolation? Quake hit stun. Quake hit stun interpolation. Let's see if I can actually find it or not. Because, you know, what happens is... what happens if you shoot a dude in a game, right? You have a dude. Fuck. You have a dude. And then he gets shot. Normally, you just have this fucking extreme pose difference. Fuck, okay, looks stupid, but you get the fucking point, right? He gets shot, you have an extreme pose difference, but then if you add interpolation, then the first shot, the first frame of the dude getting shot is going to be either this pose or like a pose really similar, and then the reaction comes a few frames after that. And it just feels shitty, because, you know, suddenly you're removing that fucking layer of feedback. I hate that. I hate that. Well, the good thing about interpolation is, like, for example, just you can make it feel really smooth to transition between different animations that are supposed to be smooth. And so when you're doing like a normal gameplay, like, you know, the attacks that can be cancelled into other attacks, interpolation can actually look fucking awesome. But when you introduce cancels into it, in like advanced mechanics, where the player is kind of like outpacing the intended pace of the animation, that's where things start breaking, and how you end up with this fucking abomination that is Spider-Man 2, where it just feels like the game doesn't know what the fuck to do because the player is just way too fast. Because, like, I think the normal combat probably doesn't look as bad, right? Let's see. Bad interpolation is actually more of a cost-saving thing. Handmade animations or really well-curated interpolation, what's expensive. But the thing I'm talking about isn't like some kind of cheap, Blender default interpolation. Usually, these studios have like dedicated programmers that are in charge of creating these algorithms that control how these models move and respond and like transition from one pose to another. It's like a very difficult technical process. But the end result is just this. I was just replying to FF, you're spitting. Oh, thank you. Yeah, like, see, it looks better when you're playing the quote-unquote the intended way. But then okay, it still doesn't look great, but, you know. Just because there's, like, such a lack of hit sparks and shit. But still, you feel like the interpolation is more justified. Because, like, the player is taking... Yeah, see? The animation has some time to finish before the interpolation kicks in, so, like, the impact is preserved. But yeah, when you introduce cancels, it just looks like fucking shit. The sliding is also really horrible. Because it removes... Like, it fucks with the momentum. You know, the developers add this sliding to compensate for the player's minor positioning issues. You know, like, minor positioning fuck-ups. Like, here, like... It becomes really hard to read momentum. Like, oh, where's Spidey going? Because he can be going in one direction at full speed, and then suddenly just like slide, like slow down suddenly and slide over to another enemy. Then it just feels like fucking ass. Have you played Street Fighter 6 at all? That is the most painful example, especially as a fighting game. Nope, I have not. Street Fighter 6 combo. Amazing Combos Volume 3. Oh, shit. No, there's like proper cancels here, right? Let's see. Okay, there is some interpolation, but it's relatively quick at least. Yeah, like here, you get like instant into kick, jab, I don't know. I don't know, this does not look that bad to me. Like, maybe some stuff is bad. Walking has so much interpolation. Oh, you mean the, the animations. Yeah, Street Fighter animations look pretty janky sometimes, especially shit like walking. Yeah, no, it's so fucking weird. Like, the industry's getting bigger, it's making more money, it's getting more talent. But these fucking games, like, the over-reliance on tech, I feel, is just destroying these fucking animations and making everything feel like shit. Because Capcom, Capcom in the 90s and 2000s were like the kings of, the kings of feel, you know? Even compared Devil May Cry 4, 5 animations to, like, the previous Devil May Cries. Even there, you can feel like a decrease in quality. A very minor one, but still. Yeah, I think they use mocap now. Well, mocap isn't the problem, because like Ninja Gaiden, I believe, used mocap. A lot of games used mocap since the 2000s. It's just like how it's implemented. How much of it is created by fucking artists manually, and how much of it is okay, that's a pose shift. That's an awkward pose shift. What the fuck? The nice thing about Devil May Cry 5, at least, is that kind of signals a lot of these transitions with, you know, sparks, just flashes. So there's something discrete happening, telegraphing your input. Neo does the same. Yeah, this is kind of hard to pinpoint why I don't like Cry 5's animations as much, but there is something there where they just kind of feel a little bit more floaty and linear. Not by much, but it's like subtle. All right. Final Fight Sword Attack is goated as a great feeling animation. Yeah, it's like what, one frame, like two frames, and Ludism returns to the table. Oh shit, they got me. They fucking got me. The anti-tech agenda. I think even going to from 3 to 4, you get like a better. In 3, you had some better transitions than 4. Then again, it might just be like the sand blood splatters, quote unquote, that really makes that game feel fucking awesome. Alright, I can't see shit. Alright, let's. In DMC file, literally teleport and stuff to avoid running around, just because it feels bad to run around in that game. Look up Gothic 3 animations. Oh god. Yep, I fucking know. This is gonna be a bloodbath. Some good old fucking Eurojank. This is not combat. What do you mean combat? You're fucking slashing air, dude. Gothic 3 combo mad, exactly. Wait, this is normal speed? I thought that was a 0.5. Oh no! Dude, fuck. Okay, this is like ancient. This is 13 years old. Dear God. I thought I was at half speed. Oh my God. Alright, let's see. Let's see the shit. Oh yeah, literally, like, it does not feel like it connects at all. And like there's... Let's see how linear this shit is. I don't know. I don't want to bully Gothic too much, but yeah, like, look. It's so fucking linear. Where's the... Literally, he just... slowly. I feel like the distance between each frame, like the spear travels about the same distance in each frame, you know? So it's completely linear. There's no like, because you would want like a, you know, like something like that. But here you get a fucking linear and just no hit sparks, no blood splatters. It like might as well not hit him at all. There's a little bit of a pushback effect at least, you know. So it's got that going for it. Oh, Jesus Christ. The fucked up thing is, I feel like if you look up the new combat from the new games of Piranha Bytes, they're gonna be just as bad as this shit. Not even hit stun. There is hit stun, right? Because look, they kind of like recoil a little bit. But look, the hit stun is a look. Okay, so the first frame you hit them, it doesn't feel like it connects. But then like, oh, it does actually a little bit. There's a... But see, like the fact that the key poses, it takes a while for them to properly recoil, makes the hits feel unsatisfying. Because if you get their recoil pose, it's pretty extreme, but it takes so fucking long to get there that it barely feels like your hits register. Like it feels like these animations are unrelated to them getting hit. Let me hold on. Let's see. Piranha Bytes. LX2. The double swords are immaculate. Oh no. Combat trailer. Oh shit, let's see. This is gonna be so fucking hard. Combo mad. Oh, what? Oh god. Well, they added trails. Well, I guess the Gothic 3 had trails as well, to be fair. Oh my god, that didn't even look like it fucking connected. God damn it. It has blood splatters, but even then, like the blood splatters, they don't. You know, the great thing about fucking DMC3 and why I love looking at this combat so much is because of the way the blood splatters work is so fucking good. Like they telegraph direction, the direction your attack is coming from, and it feels so fucking cool to slash them. It's like you know, it just emphasizes the motion of your sword and the direction it's coming from. That's why it feels fucking amazing. Meanwhile, this, like, you just have a blood splatter. It's just like a static type of effect. Yeah, like, just bullshit. Just bullshit. It's all bullshit. What the fuck did I just witness? This is some German fucking game design, dude. They actually put a sandbag in Devil May Cry 3, exactly. Damn, so that's where the sandbag comparison comes from. What the fuck? Holy shit. What the fuck? Damn. Jesus. Germans have left the chat. Yeah, run. I fucking love the blood splatters. Just so good. The absolute peak of this problem is actually in Pokemon. When you use a move that KOs the enemy Pokemon, but they have to play the normal hurt animation, wait for a second, then a feint animation. Yeah, that is awful. Sometimes you get those kinds of states in games where fucking the enemy has to like play hits, then it just falls over, you know? In action games as well. Even in good ones, sometimes you get some weird shit. And it always feels like shit, because you really need that clear, discrete feeling feedback. Jesus. Oh wait. Okay, let me watch. I'm gonna watch the God Hand thing and then stop before I hit 6 hours because I need the VOD to be editable. It's part of the lore. He uses telekinesis to push the enemy away after he hit him. Yeah, it's like a double combo, you know, just secretly using telekinesis. Fantastic.
Prioritize defense. And when you combine everything together, it could look like this. This is kind of crazy, chaotic, just canceling everything all the time. You could look at this and wonder why you would even want to allow this in the game. But it also enables things like this. Controlled, deliberate cancel.
Even this, look, you hit him, and look at what the fuck is happening with his arm, dude. Come on. Like, why? It doesn't feel good.
Canceling.
Look. This fucking stupid I guess this is an early build of the game. This is probably not in the final one, right? But still, this is like the perfect example of interpolation. Why the fuck does his arm get stuck in his fucking head? And he doesn't pull it out with like force, you know? You'd expect him to produce this kind of like circular slash when pulling it out, but no. He just kind of just soft pulls it out.
If you sidestep, cancel mid-combo, we allow that combo to continue if you keep pressing attack, rewarding that decision.
Is this where they show DSP playing? I don't know. I don't know if this is the one, but I'm just interested in the combat.
Precision and evasion while progressing your combo.
Specifically how it interacts with
animations. We don't mind
animations.
the chaotic results because most players won't make the game look that bad. But they will feel the difference if they weren't allowed to play with the moveset in this way, which is why we wish to retain that from the God of War of old. Next, the other part of playful combat is playing with your enemies. And we used to do this with the 2 core attack buttons in every God of War, so let's deconstruct the purpose. Before they were square and triangle, but now they were R1 and R2 because of the third-person camera. Most people would probably reference those as light and heavy attacks. And the light attacks were pretty
What the fuck do you mean most people would probably reference them as light as heavy attacks? Okay, dude. As the normal people call them, light and heavy attacks. All right.
They gave us
fucking
way to the
hipster.
most basic offense to allow the player to do simple combinations of attacks. But why would the player ever press that heavy button? What's the player's choice when they're pressing that button? Damage sounds like a good start. It's called heavy attack after all. But in playtests, it sometimes tends to be ambiguous. We didn't have any damage numbers on the screen. We didn't have any way to show that it was doing that much damage.
Thank God.
So how much damage would it need to do to be worthy of use. If it does too much, then it competes with ever pressing the like button, and if you penalize me for pressing it, well, that doesn't seem as fun. You could give it a distinct ability, such as breaking blocks. That gives it a good reason to exist, but only if you're actually fighting a character that blocks. So we wanted people thinking about pressing this button.
There was a little Piranha Bytes report, and when they showed the designated combat guy, I wasn't sure if it was safe for him to show his face and full name. I don't know. How does that fucking happen, right? Has he not played... Does he, like, just think Devil May Cry 4 is cringe? He just cringe, fucking sees that shit and, like, discards it immediately, throws it in the fucking... in the trash can. What? How? Why do you not... Why? How does it keep happening over and over and over again? How did they not learn? I don't know.
Most of the time, not only in specific scenarios. What about heavy reactions? We had that in first playable. Bigger reactions feel good in general.
Yeah.
But if there's no difference strategically, that nuance wears off over time. And that's where we were at in our first playable demo.
Visible difference in result better. See, exactly. That's you should apply the same fucking idea to cancels and shit, to everything. Just like visible, clear difference that you can feel immediately. The faster, the more immediate, the better.
Yeah.
Gothic is not a button masher. Exactly. That's like the only thing I can think of. The developer's like, oh, those fucking button mashers. Ugh. I don't want the game to play like them. I want more tactical, cerebral combat like Chivalry and Mount and Blade, you know?
The answer for God of War is that we actually don't only call it this heavy button. We call it the setup button. Because it's
but even then, nowadays, you have fucking Dark Souls where you know, even Western RPG developers are like, oh, damn, this is cerebral heavy, commitment heavy, you know, strategic, tactical.
This is to set up the enemies for further attack. We do this with a large enemy state change that gives more options to the player after hitting that character. Launching, for example, leads to an enemy air state that encourages players to follow up and attack them in midair. And launching is inherently playful, because you want to see how long you can keep them in the air, like playing paddleball. And the significance of this is that enemies are designed to be punching bags that aren't meant to die right away. I used to...
This is why I fucking hate juggles. This is why I despise juggles. I fucking hate juggles, because this fucking bullshit happens. Where because they need to justify their juggle system, they have to fucking bloat enemy health. Recently I've been playing Mayhem Brawler and has the exact same fucking problem. Because, you know, you put all those fucking combos and juggles in the game, you have to justify them. You have to be like, okay, why would players ever do this? And if the enemies don't have much health, there's no real reason to fucking do it. And it's like, goddamn, dude. Then maybe it's not a fucking good idea. Juggles are so peak exactly because of that, though. Shut the fuck up, Madruga man. Don't say that in this chat. I'm fucking getting you out of here. You better fucking watch yourself, mister. I'm gonna ban you if you fucking utter any kind of demonic shit. I'm kidding, by the way, but yeah.
Run around and say this in the studio all the time, where it's like the punching bag.
Button masher is just code for I suck at action games, speaking from personal experience. Sadly, I don't think so. I don't think it's just that, right? Because I feel like the big problem is the big problem is the fucking games are so bloated and filled with a lot of redundant options, a lot of redundancy that you can't can't quickly locate the good options and, you know, the bad options. So your brain just kind of like, whatever, I'll just mash. And because the default difficulties are easy, there's no like, it legit does feel like a button masher. When you get to the harder difficulties, that's when, you know, the redundant options start showing their head. You figure out what works, what doesn't. But it's the way the games are fucking designed. Like Bayonetta, you can't play on non-stop infinite climax right from the get-go. And you can just mash your way through fucking normal mode. Normal mode is fucking garbage. It's trash. Literal fucking waste of time. Like, I would not blame anyone for playing Bayonetta and thinking it's a button masher because they played normal. Even hard, to an extent. Or like Devil May Cry, or even Ninja Gaiden to an extent, right? It has more, because the moves have more commitment, you kind of get more clean feedback on when you're fucking up. But still, even then you can often bash and get away with it. So it's official. Modern devs design enemies as punching bags. Of course. It's just... Well, it's not that they design them as punching bags. It's just that they have this phase where they become a punching bag. I think they do want proper, aggressive, interesting AI. It's just they don't. They're kind of like too restricted by by having to appeal to the normies. That's true. I was thinking about when people call older stuff like Final Fight a button masher, a quarter muncher. Well, that's different. That's literally just because they credit feed, and that completely removes all challenge. Well, it's a similar problem, right? Because there's no challenge. It's just that comes from them not knowing how to approach the games. The funny thing is, Risen 1 was an improvement. Oh yeah, I remember Risen 1, I actually enjoyed the combat a little bit more, because it was more, I had to like... What did I even fucking have to think about? I think I had to think about like backsteps and shit. There was something interesting going on, like spacing maybe? Charge attack? Some shit like that. But they just regressed afterwards again. At least they stayed true to their core game design principles. That is true. As long as the exploration is good, whatever, It's not like you play Gothic for the combat, but if it had good combat, that would be a lot better.
It feels terrible, and people would look at me like I was nuts. And I didn't have this sweet GDC presentation to make it clear. Because what I meant by that is that in God of War, players are supposed to play with their enemies. They're not supposed to die that fast. We want enemies changing state constantly as you knock them around. So let's go through some of the various hit reactions in the new God of War to get more details on how we did this. And I'm going to split them up into two camps. Normal reactions, which differ mostly in translation and recovery time. And setup reactions that are designed to encourage some kind of player follow-up. And we
what do
actually
you mean,
have more
basic versus stagger? Is it like two levels of hits then? I suppose. Setups, launch, spin, trip, fly back. Well, it would help if I played God of War, but I'm flying by the seat of my pants.
Reactions than just this, but this suite was the core of what exists.
What 3D games do you like the enemies in Ninja Gaiden 2? Ninja Gaiden 2 is good. Ninja Gaiden 1 is good. Ninja Gaiden 3 is good, but a little bit less good. They cooked too fucking hard with the fucking blocking, and the way they tied the limbs to fucking strings. Gets really annoyed. It gets really annoying. I like the enemies in Resident Evil 5 for the most part. I just feel like the game needs more strict timers and like more constrained areas. What else? God Hand has pretty good enemies. Bayonetta sometimes has good enemies. Like, for example, let's see. Well, Grace and Glory is good because they fit the Bayonetta's gameplay style, where it's like, there are guys from Germany who unironically think Gothic has peak combat. They're stuck in action, the Western RPG hell. There's a lot of fucking Eastern Europeans that think that as well. It's fucked up when you see that. It's like, oh, I pray for you, brother. I pray for you. God of War 2018 has a posture mechanic that open up enemies for critical hits if the bar is filled. I think that's what he meant. Okay. So did the enemies not take hit stun normally, or is that just like a super hit stun?
In the system, and the game became more fun once we added these back. So starting with the simplest, we have basic.
Well, it would make sense to have several layers of hit stun, right? Because sometimes you need to vary up hit stun depending on attack. Like in my game, I had to have different length for hit stun from guns versus hit stun from punches, because the gun hit stun should not be that long. I really have to play Ninja Gaiden. Input delay on emulators is just so bad. I need to figure something out. Only character action game I've really played is DMC, which is rad, but enemies are lackluster. Yeah. Well, you can play Sigma. You can play Sigma, and you can play 3. You can also get the Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma Black mod, which restores a lot of the original Ninja Gaiden 2 gameplay.
And all this is just a reaction that's short enough or long enough that you can continue your combo. But if you look at that Draugr and how long he kind of sits there, especially after this one attack right here, that was actually good because it gave us plenty of time to look around and not have to worry about the enemy even after one hit. Stagger is a more intense version of this reaction, which results from stronger attacks from the player, like a sprint attack.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Longer recovery means even more time to make decisions. And
do I buy a Ninja Gaiden off Steam? I mean, that depends, right? Do you want to fucking, get a proper, solid, 100% discount or not?
For us first,
the mod works on the Steam version just fine.
Setup reaction, we have launch, and launch just feels good and powerful for all the reasons that we said. It took us a long time to put this back in the game because we were trying to make the game feel grounded, but this reaction is just too fun. It's fun to
That's pretty good.
to juggle.
Though I feel like with the Force, I don't know, something about the fact that he fucking blasts him with so much force, and he only gets like slightly launched, very slightly, kind of bothers
To
me.
follow up, and it's immediately clear difference between R2 and R1.
And the way the enemies kind of like just get suspended midair, because it doesn't feel like they, in God of War, it doesn't feel like they get properly juggled as much as they just kind of like hover there for a while. It always bothered me when I looked at fucking combat videos. Yeah, look at this. So that he's flying, he's literally like he's not really getting fucking bounced up. Okay, if you look at juggles, okay, let's go to my precious Spike Out RTA. Linda! Come on, Linda, launch. Yeah, in God of War, this fucking hovers. Here's some proper. Hopefully, here's some proper. Yes. Okay, so launch. Second launch. I love this. Let's see the juggle. Come on. Yes, come on. Fucking let's go. Oh yeah. It's like they hit the invisible ceiling. Yeah, because they have to do that because you can't jump and shit. But then just make the but see, like, this is so much fucking fun. I gotta play this game. Is it on MAME? No, it's not on MAME. You'll have to get the Sega Model 3 emulator called Supermodel. And it has no fucking GUI. You'll have to get a... The girl finished DMC. Yeah, it's like... Kick. Yeah, just good. It's so playful, because they bounce around like fucking... Like they're made out of fucking rubber, and I guess that's too fun. Yeah, look at this. It's so fucking cool. They do like a million flips from a nice solid hit. And God of War... In God of War, you just have... Fuck. He didn't even finish one flip. Not even one. And now he's just stuck there. He's just stuck. He doesn't even do like backwards pushes. He just like hovers. Come the fuck on.
Spin was a reaction we had in the past, but it had greater purpose.
Spin is good. I love spin.
Because from this new camera
That's a really good mechanic. I fucking love that shit in 3D beat 'em ups.
Positioning enemies,
especially if there's like a directional damage from the back. That's some good ass fucking shit.
Backside is intuitive and desirable. This reaction allowed the player to expose an enemy's back without any positioning and lay into the enemy's back at will, making you feel powerful. Trip was
It's so weird considering that in God of War 3 enemies could wall splat and bounce off them. Well, yeah, but I think what they did here is they wanted the player to immediately start juggling shit, right? But because the player has such small range on their default weapons, they couldn't have the hits launch enemies backwards significantly, because then the combos would be really short, and that goes against the whole play idea, right? Because in Spike Out, you punch an enemy, it goes flying backwards. But here, they couldn't launch them too high up because you don't have any air mobility and you don't have reach. If they fly too high up, you can't hit them. And then if they fucking if they launch them backwards, you wouldn't have the means to fucking chase them down, I suppose, or it would be too difficult. So it's like the developers are kind of afraid to build these good mechanics because they fucking they'll be too inaccessible to a new player, I suppose. I don't know. Spin is really fucking good in New God of War, since backheads give more stun damage. Yeah, I love spin, and it tends to be a pretty solid
mechanic.
mechanic
enemy on the floor,
when combined with like directional damage.
Longer,
Even without that,
more time to make decisions. And fly backwards.
I do like how many states the enemies have, though. That's pretty solid.
Usually, flyback would happen at the end of a combo because we kind of want to eject the enemy from Kratos after completing that combo. That kind of forces a choice on the player. Either I follow up and I chase him down, or I fight somebody else. It's a nice little pacing break within our combos. And the enemy that gets knocked back hits other enemies as well, which all slam into walls, they all get ringed out. It's very God of War.
It's very God of War. It's a beat 'em up. It's a fucking beat 'em up. You're using beat 'em up mechanics. God damn it. I wish these developers talked about that shit. Because, like, people watch this, like, the normies watch this, and they have no idea what they're fucking seeing.
And with his new camera angle, we had an opportunity to emphasize our wall reactions. So any basic hit would cause most enemies to...
They're really designing enemies like toys instead of threats that reward you with those states by outsmarting them. Yeah, well, yeah, I just like that there's a lot of states.
Long recovery time before they can move again. And that's a really long recovery time, so it helps with that one versus many thing where I can knock...
He doesn't know beat 'em ups. No, I think he does. I think a lot of these fucking developers are more knowledgeable than you would think. It's just the problem is, you know...
The walls and turn around.
Because they have to fucking...
them for a while.
Make normie games for fucking normies.
And we also had the wall bounce if enemy was knocked against the wall with force, like that.
Yeah.
So similar to Kratos' movesets, reactions themselves are...
I want to add wall splats into my mech beat 'em up.
Designed to be canceled into each other. This encourages constant offense on the player, since most enemies will always respond a very God of War trait. And tougher enemies will typically have limited reactions and be less playful. So an example of a reaction like that is Twitch. And this basically is a reaction.
That's fucked up. So, like, the whole core of the game is playful, but then he juxtaposes it with a challenge. That's kind of fucked up, because now you're setting up a way where, you know, the most fun aspect of your combat is just shut down by more difficult enemies. Let's look up his credentials. Okay, let's see. Corey. Okay. God of War, Corey. Barlon? No. A different Corey. Which fucking Corey? How many Corys does God of War have? Where are you, Baldy? Okay, Jason McDonald. All right. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Sony. Jesus. My fucking brain is broken. So he has credits for... Full credits. So let's see. God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War Ascension. So he just worked on God of War. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell, right? He probably has like some other games to his name that are kind of buried that no one knows about. Oh shit. Corey in the house. Fight and Rage feels like a nest of beat 'em up mechanics and concepts, so it's like it's a good idea. But you definitely need to play the original Final Fight too. If you want to beat 'em up to like learn about the genre, any recommendations? Got Fight and Rage. Yeah, you need to play Final Fight, but it's very hard to get into. It's gonna make you pretty fucking miserable at first. I would say just play go through the Capcom arcade library, like fucking Final Fight, fucking Captain Commando. What's it called? Just the Battle Circuit, you know, those Capcom games, and go through them and play them, whichever appeals to you. Punisher is a good starting point. It's a genre that you don't get immediately. It might take a few games to kind of warm up to it.
That the enemy recovers.
Just importantly, like, either limit yourself to a credit or practice stages in isolation. Captain Commando sucks. Oh, we got fucking Quash in here.
So fast that they were allowed to
Captain
attack.
Commando is fine. I don't fucking get the hate.
And this makes the player feel a little bit weaker, so we got to use this reaction carefully. We had one playtest where we went overboard on these reactions, because later enemies had almost all their reactions being demoted into Twitch to make them feel
We got fucking Quash in chat.
harder. And every day I would see this one player kind of get his soul crushed more and more as he was trying to play the game, and the game would get harder and harder, and now kind of get us overboard on these reactions, because later enemies had almost all their reactions being demoted into Twitch to make them feel harder. And
Is there no fucking way to make it harder, dude? Come on, besides, like, this is what I fucking hate. This is also what I hate about Ninja Gaiden bosses, because they just, like, how do we balance these really powerful moves and, like, hit reactions and shit? Oh, we don't. We just disable them. We just, like, Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked. They give up the balance and they just fucking disable them or make them inconsistent. It's like, God fucking damn it. Like, is there no other way?
Every day I would see this one player kind of get his soul crushed more and more as he was trying to play the game, and the game was getting harder and harder, and nothing was working. And his soul was just like dying right in front of me. And on his last survey, which is a basic question about the game, he responded with this. Because
Damn.
exactly what you want to hear in a playtest, yeah. So this did give us some good information on what difficulty feels good.
He shot himself right
And we
after.
learned from this when we tuned our harder difficulties.
This is Bam playing a shoot 'em up.
Played our harder difficulties probably knows we actually do use Twitch for a
Is
lot
it
of the
tuning? Is that what you... Should you be fucking tuning it, or should you be completely rethinking your approach to difficulty? If the whole, like, as soon as it gets difficult, it just becomes less fun. Because it's not like it's gonna become... It's not like it's not gonna become less fun for players who are better, right? Beat 'em up's already solved that shit. I'll have other guys whack you in the back. Ninja Gaiden has that, and also bosses that shut down your effective moves. I think you could make these reactions have certain windows where they're available, something like God Hand's counter hits. Yeah, sure, you could do that, but still, like, it feels like then you're kind of funneled into a very specific playstyle where you have to, like, either fish for counter hits or just, like, memorize very specific vulnerability windows, and then you're kind of playing on the enemy's terms. You know, I like the good old, like, just fucking throw shit at the player approach. Because, you know, it works for bullet hell shmups. It works for 2D beat 'em ups. Just do that shit everywhere.
R1 attack.
Just fucking throw shit, more and more shit.
So we want to encourage people to kind of move around.
But importantly, though, the player needs to have some kind of concrete weaknesses, because you know, if the player doesn't have concrete weaknesses that the enemies can take advantage of, and if you don't spawn them in a way where they can actually capitalize on that shit, then what you'll have is diminishing returns. The difference between fighting like 6 enemies and 20 enemies will feel completely meaningless.
They're deliberate abilities like setups. But what we learn is that we don't demote the setup reaction. So launches still work, tripping still works, all that stuff still works. You just have to think a little bit more when you do it. So let's look again at the axe throw concept and see how that contributed to playing with your enemies in God of War. So to throw your axe, you hold L2, and from that you can press R1 for a
Not
light.
exactly counter hits, maybe something like do a certain amount of hits or damage, and then the enemy gets into a state where you can put him in. Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but like the point is here that you're kind of like making a shitty design decision, which is to shut down the player's moveset, and then you're kind of trying like to fucking cope around it. You know, like, oh, how can I make this less shitty? But I feel like there's gotta be some good ways to fucking implement difficulty that are still fun to play, and don't devolve into this kind of fucking bullshit where you're gonna have to work around enemies being spongy and unreactive. I like shit like Electric Cats. How you're punished for overextending, but if you're surrounded, you can flip around or wait for them to stand. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like wake up attacks. Well, even then, you can go overboard with wake up attacks where it feels like, oh shit, okay, time to wait for the enemies to do their fucking wake up attacks and then you know, punish. I just really like the balance where the enemies are like they're helpless on their own because you have like a lot of really good hit reactions, but they kind of balance each other's shortcomings when they're in groups, and you have like solid, strong weaknesses, and that's where I just wanted to end me watching video essays, yeah, and that's where stuff like slower movement and restricted controls come into play. Because a lot of people complain about that shit, but they give the player really strong weaknesses that the enemies can take advantage of. Because if you can do everything, if you can spin around, then it eventually becomes impossible to add challenge in any way other than restricting how the enemies react to your fucking moveset.
Light throws just cause normal reactions most of the time. Nothing too exciting there. But precision hits will cause those setup reactions. So you could hit him in the head and spin him around, giving instant access to his back.
It's something I'm actually struggling with in my own fucking game, because you can't turn around, I can't play too much with enemies getting behind you. So you only have like one vector through which the enemies can attack, more or less. I'm trying to kind of exploit diagonals and shit, but it's not ideal. It's far from ideal. So what you really want fucking... That's what I wanted to convey with my competition shit. That the player needs like a weakness, and the enemy, his game plan needs to be built around the weakness. Because then you can actually have this kind of shit, right? The enemy is just a piece of the puzzle. It's not meant to be challenging on its own. think would be best for God of War. Only have enemies twitch if you attack them during their attack, but be vulnerable during neutral. Be better, reward better neutral play, which is something New God of War lacks. I gotta play. I kind of want to play the combat, but I do not want to deal with any of the fucking cutscenes. Like the cutscenes are just like a hard bog hog filter, like that I'll never get past.
You hit him in his legs and trip him, giving that extra recovery time to make decisions. So just with that move alone, you have two options that you can make a follow-up decision up right afterwards. Or I could have pressed R2 and do my heavy attack. That's slower to throw, but with no precision advantages. But like a true setup button, landing this attack will change the enemy's state into frozen. So when he's in the frozen state, he's just sitting there a sitting duck. You can just go and wail on him. Or
you can get Ragnarok and play the Valhalla DLC. It's available from the get-go. I might actually get that then. But isn't that kind of fucking bloated as well? I only heard Under the Mayo complain about it, ironically.
You could kick this frozen enemy, and you kick the enemy into other enemies, slowing them or knocking them into walls and make them shatter. And it helped us a lot because this was like a technique that a lot of people wouldn't know at first, so they'd feel good when they learned about it.
This is good.
And would give you a lot more time to handle your enemies because you could apply frost to everyone right from the start of the game. So through this mix of R1 and R2 play, you can have a lot of fun just playing with enemy reactions with the axe throw alone. Making the axe throw participate in playful combat.
Can't you just skip cutscenes? I don't believe so.
Is what form
I believe in the 2018 God of War you can't skip cutscenes. Or at least you can't skip a lot of them.
They cemented it in the God of War playstyle. And all this playful combat leads to improvisation. And all games have improvisation to some level. But for God of War, it was important to make sure that it was a combination of playing with your moveset and playing with your enemies. If you allow the player to do that, the players can create non-can combos and they can improvise.
Combos. You didn't describe... Dude, come on. He didn't describe combos. He described, like, enemy to enemy and enemy to environment interaction. Why fucking combos? Why the stupid fucking combos? Like how you affect enemy states, how the enemy states affect your combat flow. Why the fuck focus on combos? Is he sabotaging new developers? I feel like he is sabotaging new developers. Like, focus on combos, improve combos.
This. A very deliberate, long combo that brings them all the way across the level.
Wow.
Kicking them into this wall.
Jesus.
And all these enemies are tuned right now to not even attack or do anything.
Yes, too
this
much
was like
HP
a barometer check that we always use to test the fun
Combo.
factor of the game.
Combo.
Is it fun just to go in this test level and knock guys around? I'd be in meetings doing this while talking to people. If I'm not enjoying myself, there was probably a problem. Because if you couldn't do this, then it probably meant that our tools just weren't.
Oh, okay. This Paul Allen. Paul Allen is probably fucking hearing this. He's like, "Oh, you motherfuckers," because he really is like talking about literally just like playing around with. It should be fun to play around with sandbags.
Playful enough, or at least not as
forced walking sections too, right? I think so, yeah.
Playful as the old God of War games.
In games where the player character is too good, they add challenge through input reads and shit. Yeah, sure, why not? Fucking add input reads. Just anything. I'd rather just the game kill me than deal with fucking HP bloat, right?
So the last thing we wanted to make...
Why combo bad? Does you should make combat a solved problem? I don't want to get into it. I just don't fucking like combos. Because it's not even that the combos are fucking bad. It's just like they're dominant. They fucking funnel... Like every developer gets funneled into this fucking stupid combo path where they think about the combos and they neglect the rest of the game's dynamics. They start testing combos. They start like showing off combos to other people. The playtesters they attract playtesters who just want a fucking combo. And then you get bullshit like Spark Hunt, the beat 'em up that's coming out like with the demo. I feel like they only playtested combos and they didn't even playtest like the scoring system with the combos because it seems like the most efficient way to score is to do single jabs because they do very little damage and you can reset them immediately. Then when the enemy dies, you do a combo with their body because you can like overkill them a little bit. And it's just like it's shit. And the combos aren't even fucking fun because if the combos are a prerequisite, if they're not like something difficult you work towards, then what's the fucking point? It just feels like just let me do more damage, right? Let me do more damage, because if the combos are difficult, if they have like tight links and all that shit, and they have different functions, and that's kind of cool. But they're long, they're fucking easy, they're shit.
Was that feeling of power? Because
Unless you get like into like, oh, you play for style, but whatever. We ignore that shit.
obviously we dedicate a lot of time making sure the player feels powerful.
Bog
What
rage
you
bait,
really
yeah.
want is
Full
everyone to
reaction
feel powerful,
streamer.
not just the gaming elite. So in the past God of War
Exactly.
games, we always
Wait,
had some
what did
kind
you
of
say?
God mode meter, and that meter. So the last thing we wanted to make sure we retained was that feeling of power, because obviously we dedicate a lot of time making sure the player feels powerful. But what you really want is everyone to feel powerful, not just the gaming elite.
Exactly. See, that's the mentality, you know, with combos. You want everyone to feel powerful, so you make the combos easier, and then you incorporate them. Because then the combos stop being like an advanced tactic that you can do, and they become like a prerequisite for combat. Everyone has to engage with them, and they have to bloat HP to compensate for that. And it leads to a lot of these like design patterns that I fucking hate. By itself, combos are fine. You know, you can have combos. They can be fun. Like I like combos in Spike Out because you know they're pretty situational. They're fairly short, and you got to set them up usually because the enemies like fly off pretty substantially. You know, you juggle them. If she did this attack somewhere here, not next to a wall, then he would just fly away here. And you would have to go running after him to continue the combo. But you know, you have to set up enemies and funnel them towards walls. It becomes more interactive and interesting. What a dumb statement. Peak games are power fantasy. They are a power fantasy, but for a power fantasy to mean anything, you have to actually work for it, right? More combos should be designed like fighting game combos, but even a lot of fighting game combos aren't very difficult. But what you'd want is something like old school fighting game combos, where you just get like it's like fucking 7 hits, and it's really fucking hard to pull off. When you pull it off, you feel fucking awesome. And going for it sometimes is an actual risk because you know they have like tighter links and all that shit. Is Mechanical Star Astra dead? It's on hold. I don't know when I'll pick it back up. Probably after Charlene finishes. Bullet Sorcerers. I feel like the kid holding the flashlight while Dad rants about how cars work. Really appreciate the chat and hug someone's advice. Oh shit, wrong video. I'm fucking expecting him to start talking, but...
So in the past God of War games, we always had some kind of God mode meter, and that meter...
Of course, he's talking about the God meter, you know, power for all. He's talking about the meter, but I still feel like this design mentality makes its way into just the general
full, and the player
gameplay
gets
design.
some powerful attack.
More like Mechanical Star Astra, exactly. I prefer combos like Under Night and BlazBlue. All right.
Often this meter is fillable by...
Like Persona 4 Arena, where you have an auto combo, or Type Lumina, right?
a resource or
This game really makes you feel like Kratos.
for combos or combat skill, but it's also driven by lack of skill, because it filled up when the player got attacked. So even if you're getting your ass kicked, you're often given the means to come back and win. And this allowed everyone to feel powerful, no matter how well they were doing at the game.
Come on.
So like the axe and the blades, it
Then
needed
like,
a
then what's the fucking point of power? What's the point of power? Like, why would you feel good about that? It's just it stops being a special state of the game and becomes the basic, like the baseline. It's the same as with flow, right? If you design a game around flow, like the flow becomes the baseline. It stops being like an enjoyable reward for you getting good. Like there's no contrast, there's no like dynamics. It's just like, oh, you know,
dramatic phrase. And we
you're
came up
stuck
with
in
this.
flow mode.
Monster out of the box. And once again, we had a theme that we could look back on to ensure our future decisions were in the right direction. And the theme here was that Kratos was letting that monster out that we all knew that he had.
Okay, that goes hard.
This is
That's
the
me,
moment
by
where I
the
feel
way.
the most like he used to be. And this rage meter, like previous God of War titles, would fill up as the player made mistakes and took damage, and also fill up a bit during attack. So this made it more likely to be available when players needed it, and ensured you get to see Kratos at his most
Release the beast.
powerful. All players could do that. And Kratos uses bare hands in this mode, and at first we followed down the same kind of deliberate path as everything else. But we realized quickly that players didn't want to feel powerful or feel deliberate while playing this. They just wanted that old school feeling of God of War. They just wanted to feel powerful, and making it less deliberate actually succeeded at that. Another important thing about Rage Mode is that it provided a get-out-of-jail-free card when the player is in trouble.
The game is designed with power being the baseline. Yeah, that's what God of War has been from the get-go. Well, yeah, then I guess I'm not the big God of War fan. Maybe I am. I don't know. I still gotta play the fucking games. I'm doing a whole fucking response and rant, and I haven't played the games. You know, solid. This is like proper fucking YouTube response shit, right? I haven't played this, but I have a very strong opinion about unrelated things. So let me just shoehorn it into fucking this analysis.
Of all our canceling rules, Rage Mode is the most flexible and can be used out of most reactions and negative states for Kratos. We wanted this to be reliable, so when the player's in the worst states, they can feel that turn the tide when they activate Rage Mode. So here's a player using Rage Mode. He's going to usually actually just use one button, but you can see the effect it has on the enemies, much greater than anything else that you could do normally. So when players would break out this mode, they would get that sense of like, oh yeah,
the game is designed for modern gamers, not us. That's the only thing that is wrong. But I wanted it to be for us. God. Well, the thing is, like, you could have both with difficulty settings. That's how it fucking used to be. You can go play Ninja Gaiden and mash buttons on normal mode. It's not gonna feel. You're gonna feel cool. You're gonna feel fucking badass. Then you boot it up to. You fucking bump it up to Master Ninja. It's gonna make you feel like shit until you learn. Until you fucking learn.
this is awesome, and then have to go back and kind of be more deliberate feeling.
Like, why sacrifice the core game design? Why build it around this idea if you can kind of like balance the difficulties after the fact?
When they needed it, it was a nice pacing flow for the combat of the game. So we had deconstructed that God of War feeling that we wanted to bring out of players by bringing some key things back. Simple, effective crowd control for one versus many fighting.
Oh yeah.
A playful combat system that encourages improvising with Kratos' moveset and an enemy reaction set that's built around knocking
Yeah, I
enemies
feel like a lot of the building blocks are here because I like a lot of what I'm fucking hearing about like the different states and how you can you can force the enemies to interact. You know, play with their states.
And a simple no-brainer method of
That's
fulfilling
fun.
power fantasy for everyone. But we still had a few elements to think about. And that's when we talk about reinventing the gameplay loop. Because even when we added all of these things, the kind of meta of the game, or what you were thinking about moment to moment, was actually very similar. So there are a few additions we needed to make to fully reinvent the game. So we already had a head start here. I mean, just changing the camera view was causing us to rethink how players handle Kratos and assess threats. But if you think combat-wise,
Oh
again,
no!
stamina system.
Wait! It doesn't have a stamina system, does it? Please tell me it doesn't have a stamina system. I feel like he's gonna talk shit about it. Please fucking talk shit about it, brother.
There's a generating meter that you need to attack and defend, and if you run out of it, you get tired and you can't do anything for a while. At first, it seemed to hit all our goals. It was deliberate, measured.
No!
It was certainly if you think about the attacks that you do. But we scrapped that one really early, and because we felt immediately that it wouldn't feel like God of War.
Thank
Since we
God.
constructed God of War, we know what that means. We want
Is
Kratos to
that
be
your
overly
only
offensive.
fucking reason? It doesn't feel like God. Okay. I actually like this game, but the enemies just have too much health in general. Yeah, he went over that. He had to justify combos by bloating enemy health. He wanted to justify the whole like emphasis on playing with enemies, why combos and juggles and shit. That's why all the enemies have a shit ton of health, and you have to rely on a lot of these methods, to do proper damage, like wall splats and shit. I assume this is my logical extrapolation based on the info I've heard. Gameplay loop. A lot of people hate that so much. I don't hate it that much, but whatever. Guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about and was forced to sell out a bit. Yeah.
You want your...
I mean, it's just this industry that kind of funnels you towards it. Like, you want it or not, you're going to be funneled towards this bullshit.
options to be
I mean, I was funneled towards it with the beat 'em up I'm making. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta like appeal to the fucking character action crowd by including a lot of weapons, trying to build the game around a little bit more about combos. And then at some point I'm like, fuck, why am I doing this? Why am I fucking... I got frustrated and I wanted to get away from that style of design. And it just, like, it sucks you in like a fucking vortex. It's hard to get away from that shit.
as often as possible. Defense should always be available. We didn't want
It's
players
so
to have to
heavily
stop and think
rewarded.
too much before reacting to what was on screen. So in short, it just reduced our playful combat, so we scrapped it. That's not to say stamina is bad. A lot of games use stamina in great ways. It just didn't.
Love how inheriting mechanics just justifies design in a modern sequel. Hell. I love that a lot of the best shit in this game is literally like beat 'em up mechanics or dynamics that he's talking about.
Match that God of War feel.
Just like 2D beat 'em up. Not even like not even my sense of beat 'em up where I lump Devil May Cry in with the 2D beat 'em ups. It's literally 2D beat 'em up mechanics and dynamics.
Now, there's another trope, though, that a lot of games have that would fit well with our direction, and this is why. As we started playtesting the game, we started to notice this behavior. So Kratos was, kind of going past enemies, knocking them around, and you would turn around and get a look at everybody, and kind of have no idea who you last hit, no idea how much damage you might have applied to anyone, if only there was some way to reveal that information. And of course there was. Life bars. This was dead simple. It added target prioritization in a way we never had. Kill the enemy with the lowest health. We had talked about life bars before, but it was always rejected because we didn't want players really thinking about this. We'd like them just going in there and having a playful combat.
Stamina's great. He purposely spitting the shit to annoy me. Yeah.
Knocking enemies around. We didn't want them to overthink about what damage they were applying. But this addition favored our deliberate camera control for the reasons I gave. You could stop looking at an enemy, look at somewhere else, and then turn back and understand exactly where you left off.
FF, alright fellas, gonna go to sleep. Alright, see ya. Yeah, thanks Well, thanks for the kind words. Glad you enjoyed the stream.
And it favored the direct attack style of the axe because it allowed you to pinpoint enemy and kind of drill them down with health if that's what you wanted to do. These were added late in the project in the last year of development, but it was something that fit like a glove with the new vision, and it opened the window to the next concept we wanted to reinvent, which was grabbing enemies. Because grabbing enemies was a huge part of God of War. I remember when I first arrived in the studio, that was the thing that made the difference for me.
Go
Rams! I didn't
Rams!
do that in other games I was playing. So from the get-go, we knew we wanted to have these signature kills again. The question was how. Previous games, you would damage an enemy until they were low health, and then a circle would pop over the head and you would grab them. We've been doing that low health thing for so long, felt like we needed to change that. So we wanted to retain the feeling of dominating your enemy like that, but reinvent the gameplay loop for doing it. So with that initial line in the sand, and especially the original line in the sand with no circles over enemies' heads, we had this idea pretty early in the project. Use meter to grab enemies. So instead of that rage mode I was talking about, you filled up a meter, and every time that was full, you could grab enemy.
Meter!
This was actually featured in our 2016 E3 demo, when everybody thought he was going to pull out his blades with Spartan King. Instead, he uses rage mode to go grab the scroll. At
Yamado!
first, it seemed to hit all the new vision goals. Reduction of UI over enemies' heads, deliberate usage to grab whenever you wanted as long as you had meter. And a heavy dose of improvisation.
No,
Part of the reason this was an interesting idea was that players could now start the fight with the grab if they wanted to. They didn't have to attack anyone. They didn't have to weaken anyone.
This is some fucking high level Abunai design. Alright.
But this failed miserably because of the same problem that we've had in every God of War.
Based fucking, there we go. Players hoard a meter as long as possible, resulting in fewer grabs. Really, that's the. I would say it's the fucking opposite. If you're not grabbing, then you're just like wasting time. Or,
meter.
you know, you're wasting meter.
Everyone saves it.
Because
Or
it
they
funnels
forget
you
about it
around a
until they're in
specific playstyle.
This meant long fights where enemies or players wouldn't grab anyone. They killed 20 enemies, maybe grab one, if that. So that sense of Kratos dominating his enemies repeatedly throughout fights just wasn't happening. It felt like a big part of the game was missing.
Fuck, he means grab QTs, not Orion's Share and Orion Harpoon. Those are like the ones where you launch an enemy, launch your fucking shit into the enemy, knives into the enemy, and slam them on the ground, right? Because those grabs look fucking cool. And I guess he does mean the fucking QTs. Sora, are you tutoring yourself by watching this video? Oh yes, I'm learning so much. I'm totally not fucking wasting my time getting a little bit annoyed for no reason. Just, you know.
Now note, the rage mode that I was talking about before does have this feeling where it's like you could save it.
I do feel like I get something out of it, just like it slowly comes together.
And all that.
Nothing I could pinpoint though. Maybe I'm just wasting.
But it was this burst of power that you actually didn't want to happen all the time, so that was great. But for this was like a core to Kratos' character. We wanted this to happen all the time. So what about a stun system?
Torturing, not tutoring. Nah, it's a sick, twisted pleasure, you know.
God of War Ascension.
Krigor has a theory about me. He noticed that a lot of beat 'em ups I have a lot of spanking. So he's like, what does this mean? What could this possibly say about Boggs? Fucking, he noticed that I want fucking difficult enemies and spanking to be an element. So it's like, what would Freud say about this one? OS is a ground grab. OH is Kratos using chains to pull enemies to the ground when they're in the air. Yeah, that's the one I saw where you can fucking slam enemies into other enemies or slam enemies into the void.
Actually had a stun system if people actually remember that. An enemy stun meter would gradually fill when enemies attacked and would start to decrease when you stop attacking, so the player is encouraged to continue attacking as much as possible.
Orion's Harpoon is actually in the newer games though, but does it have a juicy fucking AoE hitbox, and is it still like such a really powerful fucking move, or is it overridden by other stuff?
When the meter's full, the enemy would get stunned, and the enemy could be grabbed. But the meter in Ascension was invisible. You couldn't see it. And it made it difficult to balance and hard for players to understand. But remember those life bars that we added late in the project. So as we were implementing those life bars, we also rechanged the entire grab system within a few days.
How would I criticize meters? Why the fuck don't I like meters? There's like a lot of things I really don't like them, but I think most of all is just like the laziest solution. That's why. So my inner hipsterism is going against meters. The other problem I have with meters is that they. All right, I rung the bell. Now I'm going to watch a real video. All right, see ya. Yeah, another problem is like they funnel you around a very specific playstyle because, you know, like if you're not spending meter, you're fucking wasting your time because it's always, you know, you're always gonna fucking have that. They just like they pull a lot of the game into the meter management aspect. Like the games start becoming about meter management in one way or another. There's some other shit as well. It's like the. I don't know. I'll have to think about exactly like a proper fucking in-depth argument against meters. Bombs are meters. I don't mind meters in shmups because shmups are so they don't have many mechanics. So if you add some meters, it's a more natural fit. I feel. But when you have like all these mechanics, you have all these states. I feel like developers should put more effort into try to balance them naturally with like recovery frames, all that shit, instead of fucking tying them to meters. Pretty sure it doesn't have an AoE hitbox, but it doesn't deal as much. It does have an AoE hitbox, but it doesn't deal as much damage to other enemies. Instead, doing a long stun reaction to them. Yeah, I don't know.
Production loved us.
I can't say nothing about that.
But we believed in this because we thought that this would actually be the thing that now would give you a deliberate way to choose to grab enemies. So when we put it in, the results were huge. Immediately, players were grabbing enemies in fights, and Kratos was starting to look like Kratos again. Gameplay loop was familiar. Attack enemy, grab enemy. But the difference was now that the player could deliberately choose strategies to stun enemies versus damage them. And we could now reward all those deliberate actions we've been talking about for so long. Like hitting enemies in the back, slamming them into walls, bare hand attacks versus axe, all of those would do more stun. So all those deliberate actions we were thinking about now had a direct global purpose that resonated with Kratos' core fantasy. And once that dam broke, allowing all that design information, we began adding even more to it. First the stun bar, as mentioned, then the R3 button, because we couldn't put circles over guys' heads, but R3s under life bars. That was a go. And then fire and ice element damage as well, and even more. And just like that, we went from single damage system to a multi-damage, giving players even more reason to change attacks depending on what type of damage they wanted to apply to the enemy. So the stun system and damage types emphasize another old God of War concept, which was the happy accident.
I hate
and happy accident is a non-deliberate action that alters players' actions. An example is the parry system in most God of Wars. Parry and block are both on the same button, L1. If you press L1, you'll block, but if you time it correctly, you'll parry. So what ends up happening is that sometimes you'll just try to block, but parry by accident because you just happen to time it right. And that was
But they're talking about fucking beginner players. They're talking about beginner players because that's the only context in which they would fuck this up. And I guess that's the whole point, because one of the things I keep running into in modern action games is like the more I play them, the less fun they get, because it's like I find these dominant options that just aren't that fun to perform. That's my big problem with parries. I feel like I get punished for learning them. The better I get at the timing, the more the other the more the natural risk reward elements start to fucking degrade and melt into nothingness. So if you're designing them around these like mid-tier players that are still learning the game, then I guess they do work, because a lot of those incentives combine in interesting ways. But the better you get, the fucking shitter it gets. I don't know. But also look at this. This is like the quintessential solution. Just add more meters and just cooldowns, status effects, all that shit. Like the RPG solution to game design. This is why I hate meters. Like I don't feel that strongly. I didn't feel that strongly about them until I started noticing. Oh, they're in everything now, and they're like the default go-to solution. No one does natural balancing anymore. Need hit stun? Just add a fucking stagger bar now. Need like bosses that are balanced? Add a stagger bar. Fucking have fun options that like do a lot of like property. Like the for example, knock enemies down and watch them. But you can't balance them. You don't know how to balance them. Or just fucking add a meter. Fucking don't know how to encourage combos. Just have like the first fucking big attack inflict like status effect, so every follow-up hit does more damage. It's like, fuck, dude, like all this shit. This is like, I'm playing a fucking RPG now. I'm just playing a game where every single system is abstract, when the whole fucking point of action games is to represent the abstractions with things that feel cool. God fucking damn it. The thing is, there's so many unblockables in God of War that parries become balanced in a fucked up way. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying that God of War parries are unbalanced. I just feel like the way he's talking specifically about like accidental parries, which is something that would happen on a mid to low level. Yeah. When will you get on GDC? Never, hopefully. Jesus Christ.
One that a player can take advantage of and turn the
Whoa, take it easy. Whoa, first time on the stream, dude? What the fuck? I'm always like this. I'm always intense. Fucking radical, crazy, unhinged, psychotic. Joker mode. Okay, freeze does change how you deal with enemies, though, since they become uber slow. Dude, come on, but you can fucking do that with every ailment. Oh, you slow it down, and you fucking an ailment that makes your follow-up hits do more damage changes how you approach them, because now you do more damage. Like, you can throw fucking these fucking meters on top of everything forever. There's no fucking limit to it. Like all these incremental little fucking things. Like, god damn it, dude. I hate it. I hate the fucking RPGification of everything. You can just imagine shmups, right? Imagine shmups. You have like 20 shot types. Each one does slightly different properties. Like, oh, this one makes the bullets travel slightly slower. This one makes the bullets travel slightly faster. This one slightly shrinks the bullets. This one slightly increases the bullets. This one like fucking does this. You add these like tiny little fucking niche interactions, and then meters and cooldowns. Like fuck, kill me, enough.
People that the parry exists if they forgot, making it more accessible. These happy accidents lead to deliberate actions.
New God of War is supposed to be an RPG, so yeah, but it's only. But I feel like that's like that's the fucking trap they went into, because they started adding like all these meters and shit, and they're like, oh well, why don't we make it a fucking RPG? And it's like fuck. Now you're trapped. Now you funneled yourself into this exact fucking type of design that everyone else is doing. Because you look at the fucking actual RPGs, you look at okay. This is an action game. This is supposed to be like pure-ish, right? It's not supposed to be pure, but it's like pure-ish. And what is this? Oh, it's... Okay, not yet. Okay, let me skip ahead a little bit. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is a shield. This is a colored shield that you use your specific elemental weakness to break. Would it be better if the shield, if you could still attack enemies with the shield, but you did reduce damage? No, it wouldn't fucking be better. It still funnels you towards this bullshit fucking playstyle. TBF, there's a limit to how many systems an RPG can have. You have too many meters and stats, at some point they just start not mattering. This already doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter that much. Like, it's like a niche thing. You get increasingly more and more niche, And I feel like there's a way to make them matter in a way where not only do you add meters upon meters, but you also have them affect each other. So eventually they kind of like fucking trickle down to the meters that actually matter. It's fucking stupid. I fucking hate this. I hate this design, dude. You have no idea. Let me skip ahead a little bit to like some tougher enemies. Oh, you have to break the weaknesses. Have you taken your meds? No, I'm fucking not taking my normal pills. Get out of here. Get out of here, Fed. Oh, you have the stagger bar. You fucking have the stagger bar. Instead of doing hit stuns or, not doing hit stuns, you have a specific fucking stagger bar you have to break before you get to have fun comboing and shit. Take your heart pills back. Yeah, just Unhinged rambling called the reaction video. Every goal of good design meter is to not be noticeable at high level of play, which is fucked up design. I don't know what you mean by that, but probably. You said something about fucked up design meters, presumably negative, high level play. Sounds good. Kind of like more damage than to stagger. At this point, you're complaining about system bloat due to too many niche mechanics, which can be an issue. But the meters, are exactly like that, because like instead of baking in interactions inside of like the whole enemy, because you have like knockdown. You fucking knock down an enemy, the enemy is down. Now you have like a whole range of attacks that opens up. You have like a whole fucking other. I guess one of the big problems is meters are very self-contained, right? So, for example, you build a meter, the meter affects that enemy. These kinds of like elemental weaknesses and that kind of shit. But what you want is something like you trip an enemy, he falls, you maybe like launch him into other enemies. You have interactions between enemy and other enemies, and you have interaction between enemies and the levels. It's not even bloat. I feel like it's just like a default fucking shitty, lazy-ass fucking design that I hate. Sekiro has posture bar too, but if you're good at the game, this mechanic is useless because you just parry and you don't have to worry about your posture breaking. Oh, you mean like that? Yeah, that's what I meant by the higher level you are, the more mechanics get undermined. Because Stranger of Paradise does something a little bit like this as well, where when you suck at parrying, your soul shield type of thing, right? It has a meter, and a pretty strict meter at first. But then you realize, oh wait, so I can not only can I minimize the damage, not only can I extend the meter by parrying well, but I can swap jobs to recover the meter faster and more efficiently. You want meters to affect more the player than the enemies? Then no, I want them to affect both the player and the enemies. Radically alter the kind of options the player has at their disposal. Interact with enemies the meter should interact. The meter should have the enemies interact with other enemies. They should interact between the players. They should interact with the environments, and they should be baked into like the animations and normal like gameplay interactions. And you know what that you fucking call that? You don't call that a meter. You just call that a variable, which is represented by fucking in-game mechanics, which is what action games are supposed to fucking be. Instead of having layers of abstractions plastered all over the fucking screen, numbers, meters, fucking cooldowns, all that shit. You need to hide that shit in action games. That's what they've been fucking doing all this time. Like, this is just variables. What he's doing is variables. He's like juggling enemy. What do you think that is? That's a bunch of numbers ticking down and up. But because it's tied to fucking animations, it goes beyond an RPG and it enters proper fucking action game territory. But I feel like developers are just giving up on that shit and they're plastering the fucking abstractions back into these games. And it just okay.